we read this book made me think of you, especially for tonight's event, and we are delighted to have the chance to explore the story with the person who wrote it. So I'm going to start with a few questions now. Libby, this book made me think of you is such a tender book about grief, books, love, and rediscovering oneself. Where did the first spark come from? When I was reading it, I was very much wondered about that.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me, and everyone who's joined on the call today. As an author, you might not be surprised to hear I love books. I love reading. I love books set in bookshops, and I had always wanted to write a book set in a bookshop. And the book is inspired a lot by my own experiences of grief and turning to reading as a form of comfort, I guess, during a period of grief.
Sorry. Şunu sordum dedim ki ilk başta bu fikir nasıl geldi aklına, ilk çıkış noktası. Libby'nin de söylediği kadarıyla ben kitapları çok seviyorum, okumayı çok seviyorum ve kitap evlerini çok seviyorum. Dolayısıyla aslında bunlar benim kendi özel yaşadıklarımdan gelen ve kendi yas tutma sürecinden gelen konularla başladı dedi. You can go on now. Thank you.
Do you want to give me a hand signal or something when you want me to pause?
I'll do like this. Okay. Go like this, maybe.
Okay, great. Great. And actually the year of books, so the gift that Tilly's husband Joe gives to Tilly is actually something I've done for a friend. So a friend for her 30th birthday, she lives in Paris, I live in the UK, and I sent her a book every month for a year for her 30th birthday.
This is an important part. Aslında kitabın çıkış noktası şuymuş. Gerçekten Libby bunu bir arkadaşı için, she was living in Paris, you said?
Paris, yeah.
Okay. Bir arkadaşı için 30 yaş günü için Paris'te yaşayan bir arkadaşı için aslında kendisi bunu yapmış. Yani her ay ona mutlaka bir kitap hediye etmiş ve ona yollamış. Asıl fikir buradan çıkmış.
And I found that the gift really made us feel more connected. We're living in two different countries, but every time she received a book, we would talk about it. And then when she read it, we'd discuss it. And it really felt like a connection between us and made me think about how books can be a conversation between people when they're far apart, and perhaps could even be a conversation after after someone has passed away.
Ayrıca şunu hissetmiş bunu yaparken, karşılıklı böyle bir, yani kitabı götürdükçe ve o kitaplar okundukça arkadaş tarafından kitapların aslında ne kadar çok birbirlerini anlattığı ve değişik bir iletişim yöntemi kurduğunu fark etmiş ve bunu da şöyle düşünmüş: İnsanlar yok olduktan sonra, yani öldükten sonra bile aslında birbirlerine bir şeyler söyleyebilirler. Esas nokta buradan çıkmış. Go ahead.
Great. I mean, I think that answers your question, I hope.
Yes, very much so. And I'm really surprised because I never thought that it was going to be like a friend type thing. This is a wonderful idea. The only thing that just explored all of our minds was just that the idea of the gift of the month. Okay. At the heart of the novel, it's as we said before, the beautiful idea of a husband leaving his wife one book. Did this concept made you feel like how about if you had something like that from somebody that passed away? How would you feel like? If you had a gift like this?
Yeah, well, I think it would be quite a moving gift, and I've been interested that actually I have spoken to a couple of booksellers in bookshops who've told me they actually have done something like this for a customer. One of my local bookshops, someone there said that actually someone really did leave a gift like this for their partner, which I found very moving to hear. And I guess I thought of it, thinking about people in my family who I've lost. One thing that helped me feel closer to them after they died was reading books they really loved. So I guess that's part of the inspiration, and how books that someone's loved can feel a real connection even after they've gone. It can feel a way of feeling close to them.
Şunu sordum, böyle bir hediyeyi sen alsaydın, bir kayıptan sonra sana herhalde bir kitap gelseydi nasıl hissederdin? O da şunu söyledi ki aslında çok iyi olabileceğini. Çünkü bazı kayıplar yaşadıktan sonra o insanların okudukları kitapları arkasından kendisinin okuduğunu söyledi ve onları anlamanın da bir yolu olduğunu aktardı. If we talk about grief a little, Tilly often feels that the person she used to be died with Joe. Actually, when the starting of the book just made me feel like that she felt that she was died with him also. How did you approach writing that feeling without making the novel losing its warmth and hope? Because it seemed to me very, very wonderful, that idea.
It was definitely challenging, especially because I was writing about grief when I was grieving. So there were times when it felt very heavy to do that, but it also felt quite therapeutic. And certainly it was very important to me that while it very much is a book about grief, I also wanted it to be uplifting and a story about hope. And things like the travel and the adventures that she goes on, I think really helped make it feel that way. I hope that, you know, it still feels a joyful book, even though there's that balance of sadness.
Şey sordum, bu kitabı yazarken aslında bir taraftan acı çekerken, yani birinin kaybından dolayı bir şey yaşarken aynı zamanda tutkuyu ve yaşama sevincini nasıl ortaya koydum? Kendisi zaten o dönemde bir yas tuttuğunu ve bu yastan çıkış için bunu kullandığını söyledi. Dolayısıyla aslında kendi deneyimleri burada gerçekten çok önemli olmuş. The novel celebrates books not as an escape from life, but as a way back into life. Was that distinction important for you?
Definitely, and I guess it's sort of two parts, that in a way the books, maybe some of the books start as an escape, but I think what to me is so special about books is that, you know, I certainly read for escape, but there's something even more magical when a book can make you not just sort of sit and read and escape in your mind, but actually go out into the world and do something. You know, I can think of books that have really inspired me to actually take action or, you know, live life differently. And I think that's so special. And I guess that's what I wanted for Tilly. I think her world is quite small. At the beginning of the book, it's been made smaller by her grief. And I wanted this to be a book about her world expanding again through books. Like books are the ticket to re-entering the world, I guess.
Şunu sordum, aslında hayattan bir kaçış olarak değil, kitap okumak hep öyledir ama aslında burada hayatı Tilly'nin gözünden yaşamak nasıl bir fikir olarak geldi diye düşündüm. Bunu şöyle açıklıyor Libby, yani burada yaşattığı, okudukça aslında içine girdiği dünyanın gerçekle birlikte olması ve okuduğu şeylerin hayatı birazcık daha iyileştirmesi adına yapıldığını söylüyor ve bunu çok iyi başardığını düşünüyorum. Okay, this is very important for me, this question especially because I'm a children's writer in Turkey. I write for kids, and children's book plays a surprisingly wonderful role in the beginning, Tilly's recovery. And I felt that so amazing because I felt like the place that you start is just the place where the childhood starts actually. What did you want to say about the pressure to remain productive or functional? What do you think children's literature actually can offer adults? Because there is a saying that like it's been so many years that or a grown up never reads children's books. But what do you think about that?
So I love reading children's books as an adult. I read lots of children's books to my son, but I also read them for myself and then actually pass them on to him to read when he's older. I think children's books for me, they reconnect me with that time of life when I first discovered a love of reading. So I think if you're struggling to read, like Tilly is at the start of the book, if you've lost that joy of reading, they can really reconnect you to that time when reading felt really joyful. I have more to say as well, but do you want to perhaps translate that bit and then I'll say more?
Ben şunu sormak istedim kendisine. Çocuk kitapları ilk başta Tilly bir çocuk kitabıyla başlıyor aslında bu yolculuğuna. Kendisine şunu sormak istedim. Hani aslında siz çocuk kitaplarını neden hani ilk başta düşündünüz diye. Libby de dedi ki ben kendi oğluma çok fazla çocuk kitabı okuyorum. Aynı zamanda da çocuk kitapları okumayı çok seviyorum. Çünkü inanılmaz bir dinamiği olduğunu düşünüyorum. Ve çocuk kitaplarının çok çok önemli olduğunu düşünüyorum. Büyüklerin de okuması gerektiğini düşünüyorum dedi ki ben de katılıyorum. I just want to ask, make one question about Alfie, because Alfie is a very interesting character to me. I almost saw him, when I was reading the book. He's a very gentle, quietly wounded character, actually. He is not only a bookseller, he is also someone carrying his own grief at the same time. How did this character develop as a male? I just wondered.
So I was very inspired by the film It's a Wonderful Life. You're familiar with the film. So the main character in that, it's one of my favorite films, a real kind of classic old film that I watch every Christmas. And I think the main character in that is someone who had all these visions for how life would go, but actually life took him on a very different path. And actually, to begin with, I think there's a certain amount of resentment to that, but over time realizing that actually that's the path you were supposed to take and that you can have a really meaningful life going a different way. So I think with Alfie, I thought about someone who wanted to do something very different, but actually life sent him the bookshop and it ends up being the perfect thing for him, and he really makes the best of it and has a big impact on the people in his life. But yes, that film was definitely a big source of inspiration for me.
Tell us one more time the name of the movie.
It's called It's a Wonderful Life. It's the UK, it's an American film. It's an old black and white film about a man whose life has just taken a different turn, basically. And it's a lot about him coming to realize that he's had a really good life, even though it was a different to what he imagined. So I think with Alfie, he thought he'd go off traveling and have this big adventure, but actually in his role in the bookshop, he's influenced so many people, which I think is a lovely message.
Maybe I can comment on the book. Hello.
Of course. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, I'm Merve, and I really like the book. It's a funny coincidence because right now I'm grieving, and while I'm reading the book, I cried a lot. I can say that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, in a good way. For me, it's a way of like projecting my emotions outside, which most of the time I struggle a lot. So it helped me a lot. Thanks for that, first of all. And I really struck by the idea of how it distinguishes, like, Tully, at the same time, she is trying to hold on to Joe, but also trying to move toward something new life, or like move forward, basically. And I think in the book, I really felt that, like the dilemma of like the past and the future, basically, and not being able to stay at the moment as well. And I also really like the idea of chapters of months. I think in a way, for me, it's the process of grief, because I think grief is not something it can end. I think it continues.
It continues.
Yeah, but you learn how to live with that, basically. And I have a question about, like, I think it's a really hard thing to, like, write something that triggers so many sad emotions in a really feel good way. How
Yeah.
did you manage it? I think it is really impressive, and it's a hard thing to do. Like I said, I'm grieving, but I'm not sad with that. I'm crying at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, firstly, thank you for your lovely comments. I'm really pleased the book connected with you, and I definitely agree with everything you say about grief being something that you learn to live with.
Yeah.
And certainly what I found is that, you know, life does continue and you still have that sadness, but happy things can still happen.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I wanted to get across in the book, is that I didn't want it to be about her forgetting about Joe and just moving on with life, because that wouldn't feel true, I don't think. You know, she will always be sad about Joe, but you know, there are new experiences, there are other things out there. And I guess to your question about how I made it feel still uplifting, I often, when I describe the book to people, I feel like I have to say, but it is happy, I promise. It is a happy book. I think things like the travel, you know, having her go to lots of really fun places, the friendships, humor, just giving her adventures, I think was so important to make it still feel uplifting, that, you know, there are new adventures out there for her.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I'm so sorry.
Yes, sorry, we improvised without you.
Okay. So, Merve, I couldn't hear what the question you asked. So, if you can translate it into Turkish for
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Dedim ki yani aynı anda hem çok üzücü bir konuyu hem iyi hissettirecek bir şekilde yazmayı nasıl başardın dedim. Yani çünkü çok üzücü bir konu, yaz konusu, ama aslında kitabı okuduğunda iyi hissediyorsun şeklinde. O da dedi ki hani bunun için uğraştım bayağı. Hani insanlara da hep şey diyorum, hani yaz hakkında ama mutlu bir kitap, lütfen okuyun hani gibi şeklinde. Ama diyor bunun sebebi aslında hani kitabın içerisine hani yeni maceralar koymam, mutlu anıları serpiştirmeye çalışmam olduğunu düşünüyorum dedi. Ceren, istiyorsan bu arada ben çevirebilirim.
Olur, okay.
Tamam.
Okay, Merve is going to help us translating into Turkish, so we will just like do it together. Okay, Libby. I was really going so intense and wonderfully focused, but anyway, no, it's no problem. Okay. Looking at the book, there are with the friendship. There's friendship. There's family, people, and there's just so many concepts. Like when I was reading the book, I felt like I was in really Tilly's life, Tilly's, you know, in the world of Tilly, with her sister, with her, all the surroundings and everything. I was wondering, while you were writing it, did you plan all these, or like did it come like I was asking, I want to ask actually, was it all in structured how you were gonna do it, or while you were writing it, it started to evolve in a different ways?
A bit of both. So I think because of the structure of the book, it being one book every month of the year, I had that, and so I had to do a certain amount of planning, of thinking about what the books would be and the adventures that she might go on. But then there was some flexibility. So especially in the editing, I moved the order of some of the books around. I changed some of the books. So I'd say a combination of having a structure, but then also allowing it to take its own course as well.
Ceren sordu, hani kitabı okurken aslında Tilly'nin hayatı içerisinde gibiydik dedi. Yani işte ailesiyle, yaşadıklarıyla, duygularıyla birlikte. Hani bu dedi yapılandırılmış bir şey miydi diye sordu. Libby de aslında her ikisi de dedi. Yani 12 aya bölündüğü için kitap, yani tabii ki de bir yapı vardı ama hani editleme aşamasında, kitabı düzenleme aşamasında dedi aslında her ikisi de oldu dedi. Yani hem doğal hem de yapılandırma.
Libby, I was actually, when you started telling us that you first started giving your friend this gift, which book did you start with? I was wondering about that. The one that lives in Paris, your friend.
Oh, it's awful. I can't remember. I have them all. I took photos of them all, but I can't remember. I certainly remember some of them. So I remember that she was going to Tokyo. So she was going to Japan. So I sent her a book set in Tokyo. I sent a book that I loved called Cassandra in Reverse by Holly Smale. Over winter, I sent her a really great book called Wintering by Catherine May, which is about how in winter we can sort of all retreat and sort of how to make the most of the season of winter, really, which is something I really struggle with. But I'm sorry, I can't remember the very first one. That's terrible, isn't it?
Okay, no problem. It's just wonderful to be your friend, I guess.
I agree. Ceren şey sordu. Dedi ki arkadaşına aslında kendisi de 30 yaş doğum günü için hediye gönderdiğini söylemişti ya, o İngiltere'de yaşarken Paris'teki arkadaşına. Gönderdiğin ilk kitap neydi dedi. Hatırlayamıyorum dedi ama işte örnekler verdi. İşte Tokyo'ya giderken onunla ilgili, işte kışı geçirmekle ilgili ama ilkini hatırlayamadığını söyledi.
Fine. Actually, I was gonna let other people ask you some questions also. So finally, my question is, Libby, if you had to describe this book made me think of you in one sentence, not as the writer, but as a reader, recommending your own friend, recommending on your own book to a friend, what would that be? What kind of sentence would you use?
Great question. I think the way I would recommend it would be that it's a book about books for book lovers, a book to remind you of why books are so great, basically. That would be
Very
it.
good. Okay.
Ceren son olarak şeyi sordu. Dedi ki bu kitabı hani bir yazar olarak değil de bir arkadaşına kitap okuyucusu olarak önerseydin nasıl açıklardın? Libby de dedi ki bu kitaplar hakkında bir kitap ve hani aslında kitap severlerin kendini bulacağı bir kitap dedi kısaca.
Now we can ask if anyone would like to ask you questions from the group, and we can help translating it. Merve and I will try to translate it into Turkish to English to Turkish.
Great. I also saw a comment in the chat about Joe and Alfie that I'd love to talk about, if that's okay, about sort of the difficulty of having two men in the book that you fall in love with. But I don't know whether to ask that now, or if someone has a question, I can I'll talk about it later.
Okay. Merve'cim.
Tam şey yapamadım ama Alfie ile ilgili konuşmak istiyorum mu dedi.
İki erkekle ilgili evet sorular sorabiliriz. İki tane erkek olduğu için onlarla ilgili de sorular sorulabilir dedi. Haydi sorular buyurun.
Evet.
Kitabı okuyanlar ya da yazarlıkla ilgili de olabilir.
Evet.
Ben başlayayım.
Evet.
Olur mu?
Yes, now Özdemir is going to start.
Yeah. Hi, Libby. Yeah.
Hi.
Actually, years ago, I was preparing on a project, and while I was reading an article, I came across an interesting idea that it was saying the doctors can recommend books in addition to the medication or to help people to cope with their emotional difficulties, to manage the stress or encourage the reading, especially in children. That at that time the article was about that, and it came to me very nice. And in countries such France or in UK also, specialists have even prescribed books to literature instead of sedatives or for conditions like depression or anxiety. So I find this concept very fascinating, and even I discovered a few volunteer groups that they are doing this to the kids, and I like it very much. And it was for me, it was a wonderful piece of knowledge. And even I write a, how can I say, short article for my blog about this. But as you know, when you cannot transform the information into your life or penetrate into your life, it's just the data with you. So I just want to say, and thank you, that I think this book is, how can I say, with a beautiful story, and it shows that how that idea can be put into a practice and truly lived. Actually, this was very nice, and this is, how can I say, make this idea very visible, and like you can touch it and you can read it. This is very important, I think, in these countries, because we are still Mediterranean countries. When you say something is good for us, we need to touch it, we need to feel it. This is how it works. So,
yeah, I think it's not too different
why,
here, honestly.
yeah, so that's why I'm very happy that reading that book. And thank you. It was very, I appreciate that. It was very nice, because it is a very good idea. And as I said, your book is making this idea much more visible to everybody.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I must say, it's, you know, it comes across in the book because I genuinely believe it. I genuinely have experience of it, of books. You know, the book opens with a line about the right book in the right hands at the right time, being life-changing. And I really think that's true. I've had so many books that have really changed my life, and sort of that idea of it going beyond the book, that it can then impact how you live your life. And I think that's what reading to me can do. So it certainly came from a very genuine place, and it's great to hear that is connecting with readers. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Libby, there's a you're gonna translate, Merve?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Özdemir dedi ki aslında dedi çok fazla çalışma var, işte hani bazı doktorların kitap verdiğine dair, iyileştirici etkisine dair ve buna da kendisi hani çok inanıyor ve bununla ilgili blogunda bir yazı yazdığını da söyledi ve aslında bu kitabında Libby'nin bu kitabında da tam olarak bunu gördüğünü söyledi. Hani Libby de dedi ki aslında tam olarak hani istediğim buydu. Hani gerçekten buna çok inanıyorum. Hani doğru kitap doğru zamanda doğru kişilerle okunursa dedi. Hani bu olabiliyor. Bunun için teşekkür ederim dedi karşılıklı.
Libby, I think there's a question that came as a from one of the people from there, and someone is asking, hold on a second please, is saying that about the name of the book, how you came up with that, when did the title of the book first come to your mind, or was the title you had in mind for the beginning, or did it change, or how it started? They just want to know about this.
Well, I guess it depends which title you mean, because it has different titles in the UK and in Turkey. So in the UK, this book made me think of you. It's, I guess, the intention is this idea of when you read a book and you finish it and you love it so much, you want to put it in the hands of someone else and say, this book made me think of you, you must read it. But I know that the title in Turkey is a line that is from a famous song. Is that correct? And that was sort of the connection, was that there's a song that's very famous in Turkey with lyrics that are very fitting for the book, about the memories that books hold, and that was the suggestion to change the title slightly to fit with that song.
Ceren şey sordu. Gelen chatte sorulardan biriydi. Hani bu başlığı nasıl ve ne zaman karar verdiğine dair. Libby de dedi ki aslında hikayesi İngiltere ve Türkiye için farklı. İngiltere için aslında bu başlığın amacı, yani İngiltere'deki kitabın çevirisi, direkt çevirisi Türkçe'de şu aslında: bu kitap bana seni hatırlattı. Aslında tam olarak amacı da buymuş İngiltere'deki başlık için. Hani insanlar alıp birbirlerine hediye etsinler diye aslında. Türkiye'deki amacı da direkt bir çok ünlü bir şarkının sözünden esinlendik dedi. Direkt oradan aldık.
And actually, if you look on my Instagram, you can see there's a video that I did for my publisher where I listened to the song that the title is inspired by, and gave my thoughts on it. And I also tried to say the title in Turkish, which I think I probably did a terrible job of.
Can you try here for us if you are comfortable?
I need to have it up to on my screen that I can read it. Can someone put it in the chat?
Okay, of course.
Arkadaşlar
try.
sesine güvenen biri varsa yokluğunda çok kitap okuduğumu mırıldanabilir.
It's not me.
Şey söyledi Libby, Instagram hesabında da aslında bu işte şarkıyı söylerken yayıncısıyla birlikte bir şeyi varmış, videosu. Ona bakabilirsiniz dedi isterseniz. Ben de dedim ki bizim için şimdi söyleyebilir misin? Chat'e birisi yazabilirse kitabın ismini deneyecek bizim için.
Evet, daha doğrusu kitabın sözlerini, yani o şarkının sözlerini.
Evet, ben o kadar bilmiyorum o yüzden.
Evet, ben de çok şey değilim. Okay, they're gonna try to do that Libby for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel embarrassed now. You'll have to correct me. Okay.
No.
Oh, I feel embarrassed. Okay. Yokluğunda çok kitap okudum.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Oh.
Okay. Someone is singing, I guess. Who is that singing?
Hep birlikte söyleyelim. Ağladım, neredesin nerede, ara sıra resmini dokunup. Bence herkes şarkıyı biliyordur. Ağladım, neredesin, ara sıra resmine dokunup ağladım.
Neredesin nerede? Yokluğunda çok kitap okudum.
Maşallah, güzelliğe bak maşallah.
I've
Neredesin
never had
nerede?
people sing to me in an interview before.
We were talking about embarrassment.
Yeah. I will send you the link, Libby, from chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Libby, there is a question that they sent me now. Someone is asking, at its heart, what do you think this novel is really? When we ask you like this, it's not very sensible. But what do you think this novel that you wrote is really about? Is it about love, grief, or the courage to start over, or perhaps something else entirely? Someone asks that.
I think it's about all of those things.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about books and the power of books. I think it's about the power of bookshops and how it's so often people working in bookshops and librarians who are recommending books that go on to change people's lives. And I think it is about new beginnings. This idea that I think we've all hit moments in our life when, whether it's through grief or through something else happening in our life, where we feel like the story's over. We feel like we can't see the next chapter. And I think what I intended with the book was for it to be a book about how there can be more, there can be a new chapter, and you just kind of don't know what it is, but it is there around the corner, and I guess a message of hope, to sort of keep going for that.
To move on, yeah.
Ceren şey sordu, bu kitap senin için tam olarak ne hakkında şeklinde. Libby de dedi ki bu kitaplar hakkında, aslında kitap evleri hakkında ve kitap öneren, başkalarına kitap önerip onların hayatını değiştiren kütüphaneciler hakkında dedi ve aynı zamanda yeni başlangıçlar hakkında, umutlar hakkında, hani bu işte yaz olabilir, başka bir şey olabilir ama hani hayatın her seferinde başka chapter'lar, başka bölümler, yani yeni
devam
şeyler
edebilmekle.
açmasını. Aynen.
Libby, you mentioned before that you wanted to talk about Joe. What do you want to say about Joe?
Well, just that I saw in the chat someone said, I love Joe so much that I felt guilty for loving Alfie. And I think it's a good point, because I certainly had a challenge writing the book, because really I wanted readers to fall in love with two different characters, because I want you to love Joe, because I want you to feel what Tilly had and what she's lost. But at the same time, I do want you to fall in love with Alfie. But it was definitely a difficult balance to make sure that it didn't feel like Tilly was just forgetting Joe, because as we said earlier, that's not what grief is. You don't forget the person you've lost, yet there can be space in your heart for someone new as well. So that was definitely a challenge, I think, for me writing that. So that was what I wanted to say.
And also about Alfie, I thought about this. Like Alfie, kind of loved Joe also, because they, while in their own relationship, while they were trying to develop a relationship, there was always a Joe. And I was wondering, when I finished the book, I always wondered if you wrote the second part of this book, would Joe still be in their life? Because it seemed very understanding and very loving and very feeling good about that. What would you think about that? Would they go on like that? Or
it's a really interesting point. I guess I'm fortunate that I haven't gone through the experience of losing a partner like Tilly has, but certainly of people I know who have, I feel like that person is always there. And I think if you are entering into a relationship with someone who has lost a partner or a husband or wife, you sort of have to accept that they don't stop loving that person, but they can love you in a different way. And certainly honoring the memories of that person, I think, is really important. But it's just, that your relationship is separate to that, if that makes sense. So certainly I think Tilly's never going to forget him. He's not going to go away, but that doesn't mean she can't have a full happy life with Alfie, which is definitely what I see for her.
Exactly. Neredesin?
Ceren şey sordu, dedi ki Alfie karakterinde aslında o da Joe'yu seviyor. Yani hep en başından beri çok kabulleniyordu durumu, ona karşı duyguları olmasına rağmen. O yüzden de aslında diyor ikinci yani kitabın devamını merak ettim diyor. Alfie ile olan hayatlarında Joe hala orada mı, hayatlarında mı? Libby de dedi ki aslında dedi hani ben kaybetmedim partnerimi ama hani etrafımdan gördüğüm kadarıyla bir partnerin ya da işte eşini kaybedenlerin hayatına yeni giren kişiler şeyi biliyor. O kişiyi hep sevmeye devam edecekler ve bunu kabul ediyorlar hani şeklinde. Yani
ama devam da edebiliyorlar hayatlarına.
Aynen öyle.
Okay, Libby, there is a question from Duygu. She says, first of all, thank you for this wonderful book. What traits do you share with Tilly? She's asking. The character in the book. For instance, do you also dislike camping?
Well, thank you. I'm pleased that you enjoyed the book. Honestly, I think I always share some characteristics with my characters. I'd say I also share characteristics with Alfie as well. I think, his sort of introvert nature, his love of jumpers and knitwear. But for Tilly, I think her colourful sense of dress, I like expressing myself through my outfits. I don't mind camping, but I don't think I would want to go camping in the wilds of Scotland by myself. I like camping in a campsite.
We all felt that wetness, and
Yeah.
all
Yeah, so I think I'm sure there are lots of things I share with her. My love of books, you know, obviously that's a big connection. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of camping, but probably like it a bit more than Tilly does.
Mhm. Merveciğim,
Yani aslında şeyden bahsetti, hani Çili ile ortak noktalarından. O da kampı sevmediğini söyledi. Ve zaten dedi İskoçya'nın dağlarında da diyeyim kötü zor koşullarında da yapamazdım dedi.
bir de şöyle bir şey var. Aslında her karakterde kendimle ilgili bir takım şeyler var. Mesela Tilly'nin renkli elbiseleri benim kıyafetlerim gibi. Ama aynı zamanda işte Alfie'nin çok fazla böyle kazak giymesi falan, onlar da benim sevdiğim. Yani aslında kendinden de birçok karakterde kendinden de özellikler var. Hasan söz istiyormuş. Now we have a friend called Hasan. He wants to ask a question, so we're listening him now. Hasancığım.
Yes, sorry, I am so disabled about technology, so I was trying to open my voice. First of all, when our editor, Oktay, bring this project to us, I was very happy, and because I think this is the first time we are having a meeting like that with an author, Merve yardımcı olsana, yabancı
With an author that is from another
abroad.
country,
Yeah.
abroad.
Yeah, abroad.
This is the first time we're
So
having something like that. Huh?
Oh.
yeah, that's the first time, I think, as I remember correctly.
Well, actually, I will say it's a first time for me as well. Doing an interview with you know, my international readers, so it means just as much for me as well, I must admit.
Now I am not sure about what can we offer for you, but we can say you that if you want to be here in Turkey,
Come to Turkey.
that will be great for us, and that will be great meeting for us.
Oh well, I would love
Also,
that.
With
also,
wonderful food.
Yeah.
Of course.
believe me that it's more than Turkish shish kebab and rakı.
Yes, I know.
There is there will be a great discussion meeting with us, and I will be a tour guide for you.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, when I read the book, I've recognized that your story was very calm, warm, taking people inside. Everyone can find anything from any lives. I think your story gives people hope, and this very, very nice thing, because we have read some books with the stories going bad ended, but at your story and book, people might find
Hope.
much more hope, and I think this is a seçenek,
Opportunity, you can say.
opportunity, gives opportunity to people to be a
Other
good
chances.
people.
Yeah.
After reading your book, I think people can change their mind, or can change their lives. You know, it was like the film Nightingale or Love Actually. That was all mixed stories about love at Love Actually, and at
I love
Nightingale
that film.
there's
Like both those films.
so it was like dream, and it was a good dream.
Oh.
And I am so glad to meet you as a look younger and younger author with this successfulness. I am so happy and glad.
Oh, thank you.
I can offer you whatever you want. We will handle it. Don't worry about it. In Turkey, that will be better meeting. Believe
Oh,
me.
well, that's very kind. Thank you. And it's very good to meet you. And that message of hope is, I just wanted to say that that message of hope, I think, is so important that, you know, when I write, I'm very much thinking about hope. I think, you know, everyone has difficult things in their life. You know, we're all human. Stuff happens to all of us. And so certainly when I read, I like to read books that bring a hopeful message, and I like to write books like that too.
Now, as an additional information, my daughter lives in America, Miami, with my ex, and she came here to Turkey. She was just reading books in 2 days, and 2 days in 2 days she is finishing so many books. She is reading very well, and I am so happy about that. She asked me about your book, that how I found about it, and I told her that that's a great book. That's one of the great books ever I read. So I told her that I am going to give a list of the best books we have read so far. I will include your book also for her.
Thank you.
Also, I will give her the Turkish edition also, and ask her to get the English edition, and so she can compare the differences between
languages.
Interesting.
Translation and languages.
Oh, well, I hope she enjoys it.
From now on, I am a big fan of you, you know.
Thank you.
That's a great, great book. And I am so glad and honored to meet you here. Also, this is valid for Turkey visit.
Oh, well, thank you
If
very
you are
much.
interested also.
Thank you.
Maybe there's I don't know if you're taking your time so much. I don't know how much time we left. It's
That's
all
okay.
depending. Okay,
Okay.
you tell us when you're done.
I'm fine.
Okay. There is Aslı is saying that first of all, I really love the book recommendations between the chapters. My favorite was the October selection. I felt like it reflected me in many ways. Her question is this: what feeling did you hope readers would carry with them after finishing the book?
Well, again, thank you. I'm really pleased that you enjoyed the book. And I certainly really enjoyed making those reading list recommendations between the chapters. In terms of the feeling, I guess I want readers to feel uplifted, to feel hope, like we just talked about, and I guess to feel inspired to go on and read more books, you know, that it's like a passport into, you know, the journeys of books, you know, that there are so many more books to read, but then also doing things, you know, like the travels she goes on, the adventures, the connections with people, that it's that combination of wanting to read, but also wanting to do and make the most of life, if that makes sense. So that's not really one feeling, that's a lot of feelings, but happy would be the short answer.
Aslı'nın sen Merveciğim. Evet.
Aslı sordu. Kitabı bitirdikten sonra hangi duyguyla kalmasını okuyanların düşünerek yazdığını. Libby de dedi ki aslında hani umut dolu bir şekilde ve aslında hani hem kitap okuyup hem de kitapta okuduklarını yapmaya istekli, hevesli bir şekilde son olarak da mutlu bir şekilde dedi aslında.
Libby, there's one question from Julia. She said that she has written to me that she was wondering, and number one question is that she was wondering how long did it take you to write this book from day one, starting day one, and the other thing is that actually I was wondering about that too. You mentioned something about that you didn't have a like this grieving part, that you lived through something like that. So she was wondering if you had very intimate person, that did you have a loss like that or not, she's asking.
So the first question about the time period, I guess it was probably about a year. That tends to be how long it takes me to write a book. Some of that is researching, some of that is writing. And then in terms of my experience of grief, so it was a very different situation to Tilly. So I'm very lucky, I still married to my husband, so not a partner, but family members. And I think that what I found is that I feel like grief is so universal in some ways, in that what it feels like, I think, is similar depending, regardless of who you've lost, but then it is also so specific. It's so specific to the person you've lost and your connection with them. So I think that's what I drew from, was this sense of loss is loss, but also the loss of those specific people, if that makes sense.
Well, what made you incredible in this book is that I am so scared of grieving that period of time. I'm lucky that I haven't lost anyone very close to me, but I'm so scared of that. But when I read your book, it felt like something. It's just like you can just come out of your shells. You can start doing things. You can start loving things again, loving reading and everything. So it just gives, when we're talking about hope, of course, it's like life is that we're going through, that we need, of course, hope, but hope in that grieving part, that just really uplifted me, because I felt like, okay, if Tilly did it, I could do it type. So it was very good.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Soru şuydu Merveciğim, sen şey yap istersen.
Soru kitabın ne kadar sürede yazıldığı ile ilgili
Bir
ve yaz
sene.
süreciyle ilgili. Bir senede yazılmış. Ve yaz süreciyle ilgili de söyledi. Bir aile üyesini kaybettiğini söyledi aslında. Ve hani genel olarak bu yani şeyle gerisini unuttum Ceren ya.
Şöyle aslında kendisi şu anda hala eşiyle evli olduğu için bir partner kaybı yaşamamış. Ama gerçekten çok bunun universal bir şey olduğunu, yani hepimiz insan olarak bazı kayıplarımızın olabileceği, hepimizin aslında farklı kültürlerde de olsak yaz süreci yaşadığımız ve yaşayacak olmamızın önemli olduğunu söyledi. Dolayısıyla hani kendisi böyle bir şey yaşamamış ama bunun nasıl bir duygu olduğunu aslında anlamış. Ben de onun üzerine şunu söylemek istedim. Ben de yakın birini kaybetmedim dedim ama yaz sürecinden çok korkan bir insanım. Bu kitap bana aynı zamanda o umudu da aşıladı dedim. Okay. Any more questions? Başka soru var mı?
Ben sorabilir miyim eğer müsaitseniz? Şöyle kitap yazmada genel anlamda da merak ettim. Yeterli İngilizcem bunu olmayacaktır.
Tamam.
Küçük de olsa. Şöyle bir favori mekanı, favori zamanı, favori günün parçası var mı? Ya da onun için kitap bir ilham üzerine bir devam geldiğinde bunu yazmalıyım, kaydetmeliyim olarak mı devam ediyor onun için? Yani bir
Program.
Evet, bir programla mı? Hani yoksa bir ilhamla mı devam ettiğini merak ettim ve favori mekanını ve favori zamanını hani kitap oluşturmada. Ben bunlar yazarımda da soruyorum, biraz öyle bir durumda var. Seviyorum doğrusu yazarları vermeyi.
Libby, Duygu is asking about the way you write, how you write your book, like how you study, as we can mention it. She's asking if you have any favorite place, favorite time of the day, favorite music, something that just like keeps you move on, or she's asking if if an idea comes up to your mind and that you create things over that, or does it have to be like a programmed time of the day, time of the year type?
So I think things have changed for me since having my son. So I have a 5-year-old son at home. So I sort of have to work when I can. I do a lot of my writing early in the morning before he wakes up. That's kind of my quiet time. So I get up very early and then I write when he's at school. I do like listening to music sometimes, like classical music I find helpful. I do a lot of writing here. This is my writing room in the house. I'm very lucky to have a room to myself to write in. But I also like writing in cafes and, you know, getting out of the house. I love going for long walks and obviously not writing, but coming up with ideas for my books. I find that very important.
Okay. 5 yaşında oğlu olduğu için Libby'nin aslında oğlundan kalan zamanlarda yazıyormuş. Çok erken saatlerde uyanıp oğlu uyanmadan ya da okula gittiğinde ya da işte bazen bazı şeyde güzel kafeler, sevdiği kafeler varmış. Klasik müzik dinleyerek yazılabiliyormuş. Ama daha çok şu anda oğlunun etrafında değişken bir şey varmış. Şu anda oturduğu yerde zaten yazı yazdığı yermiş. Kendi odasıymış. Çok şanslıyım böyle bir odam olduğu için dedi. Okay. Başka soru geliyor mu? Şu anda göremiyorum ben.
Ceren'cim, Hasan, Merve ve Saniye'nin soruları var. Sırayla alabiliriz hepsini.
Tamam. Bir dakika. Bana gelmedi. Nereden gelecek hayatım? Göremiyorum. Ben artık telefona geçtim çünkü.
Kendileri sormak istiyorlar galiba.
Okay. Tamam. Okay. Now we have kim dedin?
Saniye, Hasan.
Saniye.
Hasan kaldırdı galiba. Sonra Saniye sorsun. En son ben sorarım.
Okay. Saniye, our friend Saniye is going to ask you a question, Libby.
Great.
Hello. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yeah, hi.
I want to say I really like your books and I read and I feel very good things for your book. I want to ask one question about the books which you recommend, which you write on for the book lane. As you book, you know that Joe got help from the Alfie for sending their books to her wife. Did you get any help for the recommended books on the books you wrote?
So most of the books, especially the sort of 12 books that or 11 books that Joe leaves Tilly, those were all most of those are like books that I really love, books that have had an impact on me. But the longer list, so the book lane recommendations, that was a mix of my favorite books, but also books that had come recommended from my local bookshop. And I did a lot of research, you know, reading book recommendations and articles. So it was a mix of the two, you know, a lot of my own recommendations, but some, especially the more specialist ones, I got recommendations for those as well.
Soru şuydu, aslında bize de sunmuş olduğu, kitabın içinde sunmuş olduğu bunları öneri kitapların içinde en çok hani sana da yardımcı olan oldu mu gibi. Libby de dedi ki aslında o 12 kitap, yani yazmış olduğu bütün 12 kitabı hepsini okuyup kendinde aslında bir şeyler bulduğu kitaplar, ama aynı zamanda Book Lane'in aynı zamanda önerdiği kitaplarda gerçekten bugüne kadar araştırmalar yapıp kendisi bulup kendisi buradan okuyup iyi şeyler aldığı kitaplar olduğunu söyledi. Yani anladığım kadarıyla hepsi bir karışım olmuş. Soru var mı? Is there any other questions I cannot see? Before that, before we finish up, I would love to thank Oktay very much for this evening, because he made it so real. He kept us, you know, Libby, it's summertime, and I was just like coming back from from a seaside to Istanbul to my own place, and I couldn't handle the time, so I'm in a really some part of Turkey right now, and trying to talk in the car. So Oktay really made us all just, okay, what's going on? What are we doing? And come on and let's do it. So he is so importantly, gladfully, we are so glad to him that he made this happen. And of course, you tonight, you're with us.
Oh, well, thank you for. Oh, sorry.
You welcome. Libby made it happen, and
A team effort.
Yeah.
And I have a little question for Libby. What do you think about the Turkish readers? What do you think about the sharings from the Turkish readers?
Well, I mean, this has been amazing. As I said, you know, this is my first experience of talking with readers in Turkey. So it's very meaningful for me, and really special to think about readers, not just in UK where I live, but, you know, overseas as well. I think it's wonderful. And that, to me, is part of the power of books, is that they can connect people in different countries who speak different languages, like we found today. I've been so impressed with the translation. You know, it's such a skill to be able to do that. So yeah, I've been absolutely honored to speak with you all. So thank you very much.
Volkan, Türk okurlardan nasıl şeyler geliyor bu kitabınla ilgili dedi. Libby'de ilk kez bir Türk grupla karşılaştığını ve gerçekten hani değişik değişik diller de olsa, değişik kültürler de olsa hepimizin bir arada bir kitap etrafında dolaşabildiğimiz için aslında yapmak istediği şeyin de bu olduğunu söyledi ve kendisinde bu geceden çok çok keyif aldığını söyledi ve hep beraber oluşturduk bunu dedi. Soru ve cevap buydu. So much for tonight. You're such a. I was expecting you to be like very very nice, but you're even nicer and very very very warm. Thank you so much for everything. And as I said, Oktay, thank you so much for making this happen as a team effort. And all of the people who joined tonight, thank you so much for all of you, because this was such an incredible evening for us. So it was very nice to share it with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Great to have you.
Bye-bye, Libby.
Bye.
Bye-bye.